Friends, welcome to Biology Made Easy. Today we will start discussing the different theories of evolution. And mainly there are four theories. The first one is known as Lamarckism. And the second one is Darwinism. And the third one, mutation theory of Hugo de Vries. And the fourth theory is modern theory, or we can call it as a synthetic theory, or this is also known as neo-Darwinism. So these are the four main theories that we'll discuss, and today in this video we'll discuss the first one, that is Lamarckism. So Lamarckism is also known as Lamarck's theory of inheritance of acquired characters. Inheritance of acquired characters. So directly we can call it the inheritance of acquired characters, or we can call it as simple as Lamarckism, because this theory was given by Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck, a French biologist. And whatever he suggested, he wrote it in the form of a book that is known as philosophic zoologique. This is the name of the book, and he published it in the year 1809. So this is very important for examination point of view, philosophical zoology. Now in Lamarck, in his theory, he put forth four propositions. Four propositions means suggestions. And the number one is the internal vital force. Internal vital force. The second one is effect of environment. And new needs. And the third one, use and disuse of organs. And the fourth point is inheritance of acquired characters. So these are the four propositions in which he discussed his entire theory. Now let us discuss that one by one. First is internal vital force. So according to J.B. Lamarck, there is always an innate tendency in the organism to change, for modifications. And these changes, the innate tendency to change is always towards greater and greater complexity, which you can equate with perfection. That means each organism has an innate tendency to be more and more or greater towards complexity. And this complexity leads to perfection, and that perfection is affected due to the environment. That is the point. That means each organism has an inner tendency to progress more and more towards complexity. That is the first point, internal vital force. Now come to the second point, effect of environment and new needs. The environment, we can tell like it may be temperature, light, food, humidity, then pressure, wind. These are some of the environmental conditions which affect the organisms. And these different environmental factors, they induce certain changes in the organisms. And due to that changes, the organisms have new needs. These lead to new needs. Because when due to environment the organism change, their need also changes. And when the need changes, the habit also changes. So that is the effect of this environment on the organism. And when there are new needs and new desires, both new needs and new desires, they produce new characters. That means when our needs will increase, when our desires will increase due to change in the environment, then naturally the new characters, the variations will occur. That is the importance of this point. And the new needs and new desires, or you can tell the doctrine of new desires is called as appetency. That means the new desires is known as a single word as appetency. So the first is there is an internal tendency towards more and more complexity, and the second is the environment induces certain changes, and due to that changes, new needs arise, new desires arise, that changes our habits, and that tend to production of new characters. And the doctrine of this new desires is known as appetency. Now come to the third point, that is use and disuse of organs. So according to Lamarck, when one organ is continuously used and it is extensively used, when an organ is continuously and extensively used, it becomes more stronger and stronger. It becomes more stronger and stronger. While when a particular organ will be disused or underused, when an organ is disused or underused, it becomes weaker and weaker. So when due to continuous and extensive use it becomes stronger, that means the character remains. And when due to disuse and underuse of the organs it becomes weaker, finally it disappears. That means during the lifetime of an organism, due to use of organs, some organs become stronger, while due to disuse or underuse of certain organs, they gradually disappear. These are known as acquired characters. These characters which are acquired during lifetime, they are known as acquired characters. Now, come to the fourth point, that is inheritance of acquired characters. Now, according to Lamarck, the characters which are acquired during the lifetime of an organism, they are transmitted to the next generation. In one's lifetime, whatever characters are acquired due to use and disuse of organs, some organs become stronger, some become weaker. So these acquired characters are inherited to the next generation. That means generation after generation the characters are acquired. So after several generations, there is the accumulation of characters. And when there is accumulation of so many characters, then it leads to change in the organism. That means the present day species that we see around us, is the sum total of the accumulated characters of our predecessors. Again, I am repeating the sentence. The different species, the different organisms which nowadays we see is the sum total of all accumulated acquired characters of our predecessors. That means several generations of our predecessors, whatever they have accumulated, those characters are now present in the present day organisms. That is sum total. So this is about how the use and disuse of organs, how they are inherited. This is the suggestion given by Lamarck, and to give more emphasis to his point that the acquired characters are inherited, he gave certain suggestions that how actually it is happening, and how the acquired characters are inherited. So for that case, we can give examples in support of Lamarckism. In support of Lamarckism. So the first example he has given is that of the giraffe. According to Lamarck, the ancestor of giraffe was a deer-like animal, and its neck and the forelimbs were short. And those ancestors, they were living in the barren land and browsing upon the leaves of these herbs. But when the food material was exhausted in that area, they had to browse upon the leaves of some big trees. So for that, when they will browse the leaves of big trees, they have to stretch their neck and their forelimbs. So when continuously they used the stretching of their neck and the forelimbs, that characters were accumulated, and those accumulated characters were transmitted to the next generation, and generation after generation the characters are acquired, and ultimately the present day giraffe has been evolved from some deer-like ancestors. So he has suggested how the acquired characters are inherited. Then the second example we can take that of the blacksmith. Now the blacksmith throughout the day hammers the hot iron. That is why the blacksmith has biceps muscles. But and these biceps muscles, they are it is due to continuous use of the organs. So that is the second. Now the third evidence he has suggested is that of the rabbit spina. The muscles present in rabbit spina or external ears are very strong. Why? Always it moves its external ear towards the direction from which the sound is coming, so that it can hear the sound perfectly. That is why, due to continuous use of the external ear or pinna, that has become very big in size and stronger. Then the fourth example is that of the aquatic birds. Particularly you can take the example of ducks or swans. So the ducks and swans, they were terrestrial. But for some food, they entered into the lakes, rivers and ponds. And gradually, when they had to remain in the water, gradually some waves developed between their fingers, so that they can easily swim. And ultimately, the ducks and the swans, they have webbed limbs. So that is due to continuous use. Then another example we can give that of the snakes. So snakes have been evolved from lizard-like reptiles. Lizard-like reptiles. And the ancestors were lizard-like reptiles which had limbs. But when the snakes were attacked by their predators, they tried to hide in some crevices or holes. And while entering to the crevices and holes, the limbs obstructed them. That is why they stressed their body and they didn't use their limbs. So ultimately, the snakes become elongated without limbs. That is also the example of use and disuse of organs. And another example we can give that of the cave animals. Cave animals. Those animals which remain inside the cave where there is completely dark. So the ancestors had eyes. But even if they have eyes, since the cave was completely dark, they cannot see anything. So they didn't use their eyes. Ultimately, the cave animals, they do not have eyes. And another example we can give from that of the deer. Now, deer has a capacity of running very rapidly. But how it acquired that character? When the ancestors of the deer, they were attacked by their predators, they started running away. And due to that running away, their limbs became stronger. And that is how the present day deers, they can run faster than their predecessors. So these are the different examples which support that actually the acquired characters are inherited. But side by side, it has a lot of criticism.